Let it go. Now get out quick. We're gonna have to move that bucket. All right, we're changing the hydraulic fluid on the M6800, Kubota M6800. Got the LA1002 loader on it. The drain plug, it takes about 15 gallons. I've never drained 15 out of it. It's always been about 10, so I'm not getting it all out, apparently. But the bolt is located up underneath the seat. It's a pretty good size bolt. It should be millimeter, but 1.25 inches works on it. Got my grandson over there. He is gonna loosen the drain plug. I don't know whether I can give you a good shot of it. What I've got is 3 buckets lined up on some cardboard. My plan is to, when this one starts to get full, I pull it forward, start filling up this one. When that one starts to get full, I pull it forward and fill up this one. Try to get them all centered under the hole as I pull them. We'll see how that works. Let me set up a tripod, break that oil plug loose, and we'll start getting after it. I'll move the bucket till it starts draining. There you go. Man, that wasn't nothing. Come on, boy.
What do you mean? You probably had to load it.
I hit it twice.
You gotta hit it.
Alright, that's right under it. If you do it like that, it's going to run down your arm. Try to go sideways if you can. Alright, let it go. Now get out quick. We're going to have to move that bucket. Okay. Alright, we're going to move it forward. Just very little spillage. We'll watch that one. I'll unscrew this, and that will make it go quicker probably. Break the vacuum on it. Watch it and see when that one fills up, because I can't see it till it gets really full. When that one gets full, if it fills before it stops, we'll pull it out again. We lost very little on the ground, and of course it wasn't on the ground, it was on the cardboard. So therefore, very little, if any, mess. Got a little dab over here when it first splashed, or when my grandson was coming out from under it. He dripped a little bit, but that's okay. With a little oil dry on that, we'll be good. Slowing down, seems to be. Again, the most I've ever got out of it was about 10 gallons, so I expect it to kind of stop before this one's full. But I've got 3 there just in case. And you, depends on what model you have and everything, you look at the capacity and determine how much you'll buy and how much you'll need to put back in. And this is a good measure when you go to put back in. You don't know how much, sometimes you don't know how much to put in, and you put some in, you check the dipstick, whatever. If like this, you can measure, that's 5 gallons, and looks like that one's gonna be quite a bit less than 5 gallons. But we're gonna let it run. Again, break the vacuum a little bit, let it all run out, and we're just gonna give it several minutes. We'll go do something else. Let it drain out. Move this a little bit under it so the wind won't catch it. Maybe we better not leave too fast, because in case it fills that one up. We'll watch it. We're a long way. Well, we're not a long way. We're at 2 or 3 inches. I'm getting full. Then you get under there and you take off the filters. It's got 2 filters. This one does. Yours may not. 2 filters. Using a filter wrench. Go ahead. Filter wrench on it, because I probably tightened them pretty tight last time. These 2 filters are right side by side. I'll show you that in just a second. Just like any other filter, loosen it with a wrench if you have to, and then by hand. It's going to drip. It's going to drain. That's the nature of the beast. Make sure that bucket's underneath it. Just a little hard to get to. The 2 filters are just really side by side. Makes it a little bit more difficult to get through, get to, and to get them off, and to get the other ones on. kind of snake it out of there. Kind of busy under there. Got tubes and levers and linkages and all that stuff.
Can you just put that thing in there?
You can. So what happens next is just brute strength. My filler tube, this is where you fill, and it is almost 4 feet off the ground. So, and it's tucked back in here. I've got hoses running to the front loader. Just difficult to get in here. Got this bar here. Difficult to get in here with a 5-gallon bucket, even with a funnel and such. So just tricky. There was no way to get a good camera angle on it for you to see that. So basically undo that. It's a pretty good size hole, maybe 1 inch in diameter, 1.25 inches. And then you just lift up the tank, or if you have a pump. Now I bought a pump hoping it would do this. It pumps gas and diesel fine, but the oil was just too thick and just wouldn't do it. So we had to manually lift it up and pour it in there, and it has to be very slowly because the opening is so small that the funnel has to be small. And I couldn't get I've got a big funnel, couldn't get it up in here because it was just, there's too much stuff, too much going on. So my big funnel with a big hole would have helped, but I just couldn't get it up in here. So I had to use a funnel with a pretty small hole. Lift it up, pour it in. I put in almost 10 gallons before I started checking it. You can see when you drain out, whatever you drain out is pretty much what you're going to put back in if your levels were good before you started. So, but it's brute strength. That 5-gallon bucket weighs 50 pounds. So, you've got to pick it up and hold it for minutes and minutes while it pours slowly, especially if it's cool outside. It runs even slower. Pour it slowly into the hole. So that took a while, and it was pretty taxing. My grandson and I shared that experience. Let him get a little experience picking it up and doing all that. And but anyway, we got it in there. It's just it's heavy. It's heavy work unless you've got a pump. Now there are some pumps where you can pull it manually, and I may look into one of those before I do this next time, because it's a pain to have to pour a 5-gallon bucket into a hole that's recessed back here with all this stuff in the way. It's just real difficult to do because you got to use a funnel, and the funnel is just going to be a small funnel, and it just takes a long time. Anyway, one of the main questions I get when I talk hydraulics, either replacing hoses, fluids, things like that, one of the main questions I get is, did I have to bleed the hoses? Did I have to purge or do anything like that for the hydraulics to run? I've never had to do that. I've had 2 different tractors in my life. One of them was about a 50-year-old case tractor. I replaced every hose on it. Just about every time I'd operate it, I'd bust a hose and have to replace it. And then this one here, this was made in about 2004. Something like that, and Kubota, and I've just never had to do that. I don't know that every tractor is like that, but basically it primes itself, it purges itself, it bleeds itself, there's just nothing has to be done. Now, when you first start pulling on the stick, first start raising the load or something like that, then yes, it might be jerky or something like that. But it picks up, it finds it, all the air gets out of the hoses and all the air gets out of the cylinders, and I've never had to do anything like that. Now, this time, what I did do was bring all my cylinders all the way in as far as I could on all these cylinders. I backed them off to where the cylinder itself, this cylinder shouldn't be holding very much fluid. So therefore, what I'm saying is I tried to get all the hydraulic fluid I could to empty out into the buckets when I'm draining it. And to do that, I didn't want a lot of hydraulic fluid in these cylinders. So I did back them off as much as I could. I lowered the bucket, so this was pretty much bottomed out. Those were pretty much bottomed out. I curled it up. So that's one reason, maybe, because there was very little hydraulic fluid in the cylinders when we started. But I've just never had to bleed or do anything like that. So just keep that in mind. I very seriously doubt you will have to do that also. It could be on some you do. I doubt it. I really doubt it. The air is going to purge out on its own, and you're just not going to have to do anything except work it just, a minute or two. And once you work it a minute or two, the bucket, the tilt, the curl, and all that stuff, even your bottom arms here, your 3-point hitch arms, swing arms, once you do that a few times, it's just not, you're not going to have a problem with it. So I've never had to purge, never had to bleed, anything like that. Don't think you will either. Anyway, it's something that needs to be done. Whatever your manual says. I think mine maybe says every 500 hours or something like that. And I always go back with the manufactured specifications, which would be a Kubota fluid, which is extremely expensive. One of those 5-gallon buckets costs about $150, $200. So, and I used 2 of them and even part of a third one, I think. So anyway, we got it full. Dipstick is right there. And we just, I'd run it, I'd do the hydraulics, and then kill it, wait a few minutes, check the dipstick, add a little bit more, whatever. You don't want to overfill, so that's something you need to consider is don't put too much in, and then run your machine a little bit up and down, get the hydraulics working, and then check several times until you get it right on the stick. So I hope that helps you. To maintenance your own equipment, it's extremely expensive if you have to take it in and let them do it. Yes, it's nasty. You have to crawl in the tractor. You're going to get oil and stuff all over your hands. But if you change the oil in a car or something like that, this is really not a whole lot different. You pull the drain plug. You pull the filters. In this case, it's got 2. And something else I did was write. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but I wrote on the filters the hours, 1,100 hours, and that it was 12:25. I wrote those on the filter with some ink, not ink, with a paint pen, which won't come off. So it'll be there till the next time I change these. So again, hope this helped you. Hope you'll do your own. You save a lot of money doing that, and I think that's it. We're gone.